So to begin with, when we first started Squeegee, we were hand printing all orders in-house. So we'd get an order and we'd print it as and when the orders came in. Whereas after the first 2 to 3 years, we realised that the order size we were getting was growing and we weren't going to be able to produce enough fabric within the timescales that the architects and interior designers were setting. So we looked around the country for mills and printers, people that would look at us as a company and trust where we, not really trust, but see where we were going as a company and put belief in us, because we were ordering very small amounts compared to anyone else in the industry. So we had to secure much smaller minimums. And that really was the sort of stepping stone from going from our craft business through to production and holding our first stocked range. So that was a huge risk because you were basically investing an awful lot of money in stock that you didn't know necessarily was going to sell. But we'd done a lot of market research, we'd had a lot of regular customers by then, and they were the people that had really asked for the collection to be held in stock rather than being produced to order. We'd always made a conscious decision from the beginning we didn't want to stay craft based. That was never our goal. We always wanted to have a worldwide brand name with Squeegee, and going to the production, using other outsourcing our manufacturing, was seeing that sort of goal come to sort of realisation. Because really, when you're hand printing all your orders, you were doing your business by day and then printing by night. And you can't do that forever. You have to look at your time and how best to use your time. And it was cheaper to pay someone else to print the fabrics. And from there, really, we've stocked ranges now for over 3 years, and that was growing our customer database, it's growing our brand name Squeegee. And then in September last year, 100% Design, we launched the Natasha Marshall brand for retail. And that was again looking at the strategy and saying, right, why is the retail business not growing as fast as contracts? And you're looking at the brand name and realising that the actual name Squeegee was shutting the market off to the wider audience because it's so contemporary and a bit funky, and it's not maybe right for your great auntie Nora to go and buy her curtains, so she was embarrassed to ask for the name. And really from that, we started being, well, a lot of the bigger fabric companies started looking at us as a company and wanting to get involved with us. We did meet with a couple of them and they weren't right, because with a partnership like that, it has to be worked from day one. And we did team up in October and officially in March this year with Stay Interiors, and that is under a license agreement. Now, with licensing agreements, it is an area that you have to work with a lawyer. There is a lot of different ways it can be done. The agreement that we've set up very much keeps us in control. We have licensed our designs to them to sell, so they can produce the fabrics. We get a monthly royalty. We yearly can look at their accounts, so we know exactly how many meters they printed, how many rolls of wallpaper they produced. It's very clear cut on how much money we're making per month and how much they're making. There's no sort of grey areas. A lot of people get into problems with license agreements when they go into it really without speaking to a lawyer. At the end of the day, it does cost a lot of money to do it, but what you're going to gain back from that is tenfold. It's just night and day, and they will be able to guide you through how best to sort of safeguard yourself and your designs, because you don't want them to be sold in a lower ended market than you'd anticipated. So take, for instance, our license agreement with the fabrics and wall coverings. They're only allowed to sell at mid to high end. The prices all have to be agreed with us. We finalise the way the books look, the way the marketing's done for the range, and really we go down and work with them as a company. It's a partnership where you work together. You looked at how to improve our marketplace together. It's not a case of saying goodbye to the designs under license. But then we've done smaller license agreements where you're very much, it's a very small document and you've got a design which a company wants to use on a product. And the license agreement basically says that any product before it goes to marketplace has to be signed off by us. So you can check the quality control, check you're happy it's going at the mid to high end level only. And that's a very simple procedure. Whereas if you're teaming up with a big company with your whole range, that's a whole different ballgame. But there's always ways around it, and just a quick chat with a lawyer, they won't charge you to begin with, just to go and have a chat and to find out how a license agreement works. It's only once they start pulling the license agreement together that you start to get charged.